Alright, since there's gonna be the Amphibia's third anniversary, today I wanted to talk about one of the Amphibia characters who's actually the main protagonist. If you do not know who this character is, let me tell you. This character's name is Anne Boonchi. She's actually the main protagonist of the show Amphibia. She's a Thai American who was actually voiced by Brenda Song. So, Brenda Song apparently voiced some characters as well. You know, she voiced London Tipton and her favorite character, Wendy Wu. Alright. So, during the 13th birthday party that she had, Anne and her friends Sasha and Marcy were actually transported to Amphibia by mistake by letting Anne steal a calamity box from the thrift shop. So eventually, what I was gonna say is that when she arrived in Amphibia, she apparently befriended this family of frogs, Sprig, Polly, and Hop Hop Plant Heart. So if you don't know what happened to Sprig and Polly's parents, Sprig and Polly's parents apparently was killed by a giant heron. On the way to find herself in Amphibia, and in order to go home, she had to defend herself, which uses around and Maleficent forces. So Anne was apparently represented as the blue gem of the heart of the calamity box and trustfully influencing the world to become a better place. So what really happened in here? Alright. During that time, when Anne goes to school, a young girl named Maggie actually bullies her for just trying to say that what kind of dish is that? So eventually Sasha had to stand up for her. However, things don't go well in the middle of nowhere. So basically what I was gonna say is that after stealing the calamity box from the thrift shop, both of them apparently got sent to Amphibia. So both of them were actually in different realms. One, Sasha was actually sent with Grime and his soldiers, while Marcy apparently just falls down a house stairs. But even though she's conscious, they apparently have a free healthcare service for her. Alright. So eventually what I was gonna say is that Anne deeply loves her friends. However, with Marcy by her side, Marcy can get really, really clumsy at times, you know? So what really happened to Anne? During the second half of the season, which was the True Colors, she sees Marcy being stabbed by King Andreas. The calamity box begins to break, and Anne apparently returns home to California. Beginning in season 3, Anne apparently still wears her outfit without the shoes. But Anne apparently has a new outfit with a jacket and a shirt, you know? So basically, in season 3, she wears a white shirt with pink sleeves and a flame symbol. This apparently has a yellow jacket, you know? It has a yellow jacket, so eventually, this is the time where Anne Boonchi has a different outfit compared to the other outfits she normally wears, you know? Like that. So apparently Anne is actually a talented cook. So apparently she helps her parents in a family restaurant. So eventually Anne knows a lot of those foods. Say for instance, lab. So what is lab? So lab is actually the sticky rice along with green papaya salad. It's actually eaten in Southeast Asian countries. And apparently this one is actually one of the dishes. It's also in Thai cuisine as well. You know? It's also in Thai cuisine as well. Even though Anne and her parents had immigrated from Thailand to America, both of them had still lived in California when Anne was actually a middle schooler. Alright? So what kind of food that they really serve during Anne's time? So basically the frogs just say it's actually called lob. It's lob. Like that. Eventually Anne's parents actually own this restaurant called Thai Gold, which is actually in Los Angeles in California. So this is actually, the first appearance was actually Lily Pad Thai, and the last appearance was Mr. X. So eventually, it's basically in Thai Gold because Anne was in charge of this place, you know? So eventually, what I was gonna say is that Anne apparently did drink like the milk tea, but it had like these kinds of little balls. It's actually like boba balls, but it's not boba balls. So what foods they really had when Anne served them in the episode? Lily Pad Thai, you know. Okay, so basically there's actually Pad Thai with flies on top. Pad Thai is actually a noodle dish. So basically you can put over chicken, shrimp, pork, beef, or other kind of protein. But basically there's actually one thing. If you're a vegetarian, you can add tofu in it. It's a rice noodle dish. It's made with shrimp, peanuts, and a scrambled egg. But if you're definitely allergic to seafood or even meat, you could substitute it for tofu. So eventually I did try Pad Thai before. It was so delicious. So basically this is what like Anne served. So if you go like cuisine in Thailand, you can find all the delicious authentic food there. So we got fried rice, like Thai fried rice. I know there's like lots of variations in Thai rice. Squid and basil special. And they got fly iced tea, which is actually, I think, iced tea. Maggot lob. So it's actually pronounced lap, like that. It's actually pronounced like lap. So eventually, it's a mix of noodles and herbs on the plate. So eventually, what I was gonna say is that there's actually some kind of thing which is actually called lob, since Anne was apparently Thai, you know. Alright. So eventually, let's just get into the role. So basically, she begins to have a relationship with Sprig, fighting off monsters. But Anne understands about what happens to Sprig and Polly's parents when they both died when they were very young. So when Anne and the planters had set off the journey to Newtopia, Anne apparently finds Marcy, who's still alive. But although she's a bit clumsy, they take a successful mission into the roller. Alright, so apparently both of them had a rematch together, but the three human girls, the planters, Graham and Frobo, arrived at Newtopia. Unfortunately for that, what I was gonna say is that Anne had the power to reveal the blue gem. It's actually similar to the Super Saiyan thing, you know? So when Marcy apologizes for her actions when just opening the calamity box, King Andreas actually stabs her, causing her to succumb to her injuries and die. But unfortunately for that, Marcy apparently transported herself into Darcy, which is actually the evil version of her. Alright, so when Anne and the planters actually walked towards the human girls' neighborhood, they actually found their mother and father. So basically, life goes back to normal. The planters were actually disguised as humans. So basically, there's actually like those things. So eventually, Anne decides to make new friends, you know. So what really happens in the end is that Anne and the girls apparently receive their powers. And 10 years later, Anne apparently works in a museum where they apparently just show frogs. So this little frog was apparently named as Sprig. So what really happened to them in the last episode? So basically, what I was gonna say is that both of them were actually 23 years old. In the last episode, which was 10 years after her adventure, it was actually the final episode which ended. So eventually, they're visiting the children, which is called the Frog Lady. Both of them have reunited, and somehow they were back in time to celebrate Anne's 23rd birthday together. So that's actually the end of the story on how Anne Bunchi and her friends went to Amphibia by accident. Anyways guys, I think I had enough for now. And this is me signing off.